Life is unpredictable. We move through our daily routines, thinking everything is fine, only to be hit by an unexpected storm that changes everything. Sometimes, the storm comes from the people you trust the most, the ones who hold a place so close to your heart that you never imagined they could be the ones to break it. My story is about a betrayal I never saw coming, a sister I never thought would hurt me, and a fiancé whose love turned out to be an illusion. My name is Maya, and I once had a picture-perfect life. I was in a happy relationship with my fiancé, David, and was incredibly close to my younger sister, Emily. We were inseparable growing up. David and Emily had been friends before I even met him, and I always believed their bond was innocent. Just childhood friends who occasionally hung out. But, in the blink of an eye, that bond would come to mean something far darker than I could ever have imagined. It all started on a normal evening. I had finished a long day at work and was excited to return home and spend the night with David and Emily. The three of us often enjoyed dinners together and talked about everything under the sun. However, that evening something felt off. As I walked into the house, the silence struck me immediately. There was no laughter, no chatter, just a stillness that felt heavy. I called out for David and Emily, but there was no answer. I walked through the hallway and into the living room. The sight that met me took my breath away. There they were, David and Emily sitting close together on the couch, their eyes turned toward me, and in that instant, I saw it. The guilt, the unease, and the fear in their faces told me everything I needed to know. My heart sank. I asked, "What's going on here?" But the words seemed to hang in the air, heavy with the weight of truth. David looked at me but couldn't speak. Emily's eyes filled with tears. She hesitated, then finally whispered, "I'm sorry, Maya. We've been seeing each other." My entire world came crashing down. The man I was supposed to marry, the person I thought would love and protect me forever, had been having an affair with my sister. The one person I had trusted with my deepest secrets, my sister, the one person I thought would always have my back, had betrayed me in the worst way possible. I couldn't comprehend what they were telling me. I couldn't make sense of it. How could they do this to me? My mind raced as I felt a flood of emotions, shock, anger, disbelief, and overwhelming hurt. I wanted to scream, but no sound came from my throat. All I could do was stare at them, trying to understand how this could happen. The truth was unbearable. And yet, there it was. In a daze, I gathered my things and left. I couldn't stay there. Not with them. Not in that house. I didn't know where I was going, but I just needed to get away. My heart was broken, and my mind was clouded with a mix of pain and rage. How had I not seen the signs? How could Emily, my own sister, betray me like this? And David, I thought he was the love of my life. How could he betray me in such a cruel and unforgivable way? The days that followed were nothing short of a nightmare. The betrayal didn't just hurt me, it shattered my entire family. My parents, who had always been the cornerstone of our family, couldn't believe what had happened. They had always trusted David and loved Emily like their own daughter. My mother was devastated, but at least she still hoped Emily could somehow redeem herself. My father, on the other hand, was unforgiving. He told me that trust, once broken, could never be repaired. I didn't know what to do. I was angry at both of them, David for what he had done and Emily for breaking the bond we had spent years building. I cut off all contact with them, blocking their numbers, deleting social media accounts, and telling my friends and family not to relay any messages from them. It was clear to me that they didn't deserve my forgiveness, at least not at that point. I was done with them both. Time passed in a blur. I tried to go on with my life, but the pain of the betrayal lingered. I went through the motions of everyday life, but nothing seemed the same anymore. I couldn't look at David's pictures without feeling a deep sense of loss, and I couldn't think of Emily without feeling anger rise up in me. What hurt the most was the loss of trust. It wasn't just about the affair, it was about the fact that the people I trusted most had hurt me beyond words. Then, months later, when I thought I had finally moved on, Emily showed up at my door. I was alone, sitting in my living room, when the doorbell rang. I opened it, and there she was, my sister, standing there with tears in her eyes. She looked different, pale, fragile, and broken. My first instinct was to slam the door in her face, but something stopped me. I hadn't heard from her in so long, and seeing her now standing there, I felt a mix of anger, confusion, and perhaps even pity. "Maya, please," she said in a trembling voice. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but can we talk? Just for a moment?" Her words broke something in me, but I didn't know if I was ready to listen. I hadn't even wanted to think about her or David since that night. I didn't know if I could handle hearing more lies or excuses, but there was something about her brokenness that made me hesitate. I opened the door and let her in. The conversation that followed was painful and raw. Emily began by apologizing for what she had done. She told me how guilty she felt, how she never intended for things to get so far, and how she regretted hurting me. She explained that it all started innocently enough, but soon she found herself falling in love with David. She admitted that what she had done was wrong, and that she would never be able to take it back. She didn't ask for my forgiveness, only for a chance to explain herself. As she spoke, I felt an overwhelming rush of emotions. On one hand, I wanted to scream at her for what she had done. How could she betray me like that? On the other hand, there was something in her words that made me want to believe that she was truly sorry. I wasn't sure what to think anymore. Could I ever trust her again? Could I rebuild our relationship after everything she had done? I asked her, "Why did you do it, Emily? Why did you destroy everything?" She broke down in tears. "I don't have an answer for you, Maya. I wish I could go back and undo it. I can't imagine the pain I've caused you, and I hate myself for it. I was selfish, and I let my emotions take control. But please know that I never meant to hurt you. I was confused, and I made the worst mistake of my life. For the first time in months, I saw a glimpse of the sister I once knew. She wasn't the same confident, carefree Emily I had grown up with. She was a broken person lost in the consequences of her actions. Part of me wanted to forgive her, to offer her a second chance, but another part of me was terrified of letting myself be hurt again. The weeks that followed were filled with long nights of introspection. I spoke to my parents about what had happened. My mother still wanted to forgive Emily, but my father, ever the protector, was against it. He felt that once trust was shattered, it couldn't be rebuilt. But I realized that forgiveness wasn't just for Emily. It was something I needed to do for myself. If I was going to move forward, I had to let go of the anger and pain that had consumed me. Eventually, I agreed to meet Emily again, this time with the intention of starting fresh. We met in a quiet park where we used to go on walks when we were younger. The air was crisp, and the leaves were just beginning to change colours. It felt symbolic somehow, like we were both trying to change too. "I don't know if I can ever fully forgive you, Emily," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "But I'm willing to try. I want to rebuild our relationship, but it will take time. You'll have to prove to me that you're truly sorry and that you've learned from this mistake." Emily nodded, tears in her eyes. "I'll do anything, Maya. I'll prove to you that I'm truly sorry. Please, just let me show you." It wasn't an easy road, but over time, Emily and I started to rebuild our relationship. We spent months working through the pain, learning to trust again, and slowly repairing the bond that had been broken. I never forgot what happened, but I learned that healing is a process. Emily showed me through her actions that she truly regretted her mistake. She never asked for my forgiveness, but worked tirelessly to earn back my trust. While the scars of the past would never completely disappear, we moved forward, stronger and wiser. The journey was long, but in the end, we both learned that healing doesn't happen overnight, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is let go of the past and allow the possibility of forgiveness.